We've all encountered people who leave us questioning our own sanity, our own worth, and even our own perception of reality. Sometimes these people hide behind charming masks, smiling faces that make us doubt if we're the problem. But recognizing toxicity isn't just about calling someone bad. It's about understanding behaviors that drain us, damage us, and diminish us over time. Toxic people aren't just in movies or crime documentaries. They can be right next to us, disguised as friends, family, or even colleagues. So today, let's dive deep into how to spot these subtle yet powerful traits before they consume more of our time, energy, and peace. 1. Always playing the victim in every situation. Imagine this: every time something goes wrong, no matter how small, it's never their fault. They slip up at work, the boss hates them, they lose a friend. That friend was jealous or fake. These people master the art of victimhood, spinning every scenario to gain sympathy while avoiding accountability. They weaponize vulnerability to manipulate, creating a narrative that they're perpetually wrong. Over time, this dynamic drains you. You find yourself constantly offering comfort, reassurance, and emotional support while they offer nothing but complaints. It can be exhausting, leaving you questioning if their issues are genuine or just another act to gain control. 2. Turning every conversation into a story about themselves. Ever tried sharing a personal victory or a struggle only to have it hijacked by someone else's bigger story? Toxic individuals crave the spotlight and will do anything to keep it on themselves. You mention a tough day, and suddenly they've had a week from hell. You share a personal achievement, and they immediately one-up it or diminish it. These people see every interaction as an opportunity to feed their ego rather than genuinely connecting. Over time, it becomes apparent they don't listen to understand. They listen to respond and reframe the focus back to themselves. 3. Leaving you emotionally drained after spending time together. You know those people who leave you feeling exhausted, even if you didn't do anything physically demanding. That's the weight of emotional exhaustion, and it's real. Toxic people have a way of offloading their negativity onto others: complaints, criticisms, chaos. After spending time with them, you might feel tense, irritable, or like you've carried a burden that isn't yours. They suck the joy out of situations, replacing it with tension, drama, or an endless need for reassurance. It leaves you questioning why every interaction feels like a battle you never signed up for. 4. Constantly putting you down or making sarcastic jabs. At first, their comments might seem playful, just jokes, right? But over time, the sarcasm sharpens, the comments sting, and you realize there's always a hint of truth behind the jokes. They criticize your choices, your appearance, your ambitions, anything that makes you feel confident. The intention is clear: to undermine your self-esteem. These toxic individuals thrive on control, and the easiest way to gain control is to make you doubt yourself. By diminishing you, they feel empowered, and by laughing it off, they avoid accountability. 5. Twisting situations to make you feel at fault. Arguing with a toxic person can feel like stepping into a maze with no exit. You bring up a genuine concern, and before you know it, you're apologizing for something you didn't even do. They have an uncanny ability to twist situations, deflect blame, and manipulate the narrative. They'll accuse you of being too sensitive or overreacting when you express genuine feelings. Over time, you begin to question your perspective, wondering if you're the problem. This is gaslighting, and it's a classic tool of manipulation that keeps you trapped in their version of reality. 6. Never apologizing, even when it's obvious they're wrong. Apologies require humility, and toxic individuals rarely possess that. In their world, admitting fault is a sign of weakness, a crack in the carefully crafted facade they maintain. They will twist the situation, change the narrative, and deflect the blame, making it seem like you should be the one apologizing. This constant refusal to own up to mistakes not only prevents genuine resolution, but also leaves you feeling invalidated. You may find yourself apologizing just to keep the peace, even when it wasn't your fault to begin with. 7. Gossiping nonstop and spreading negativity. You can learn a lot about someone by observing how they speak about others. Toxic individuals often thrive on gossip, using it to control narratives, create drama, and tear others down. They project their insecurities onto others, seeking allies in their negativity. If they gossip to you, rest assured they gossip about you too. Spending time around such individuals leaves you anxious, wondering if you'll become their next target. Instead of uplifting, they focus on tearing down, creating an environment of mistrust and discomfort. 8. Competing with you instead of cheering you on. Healthy competition can be motivating, but with toxic people, it's destructive. They view your achievements as a threat, not a reason to celebrate. If you succeed, they'll diminish it, claiming it was luck or that they could have done better. If you're struggling, they subtly delight in your failures. This constant competition isn't about personal growth, it's about control and the need to feel superior. Instead of lifting each other up, they aim to keep you beneath them, feeding their fragile sense of superiority. 9. Making you doubt your own value or decisions. Have you ever felt confident about a choice, only to have someone pick it apart until you're questioning your judgment? Toxic individuals excel at planting seeds of doubt. They'll disguise their criticism as concern or claim they're just being honest. Over time, their negative comments erode your confidence, making you second-guess yourself. They feed off the power they feel when you're uncertain, using your self-doubt to maintain control. If someone regularly leaves you feeling small or incapable, it's a sign of their toxic influence. 10. Bringing up past mistakes to knock you down. When conflict arises, a toxic person won't address the present issue. They'll weaponize your past against you. They keep a mental inventory of your mistakes and failures, ready to use them when it serves their agenda. These past mistakes, long forgiven or irrelevant, become ammunition to make you feel guilty or inadequate. They manipulate your vulnerability, not to resolve the issue, but to maintain control. Over time, you find yourself guarded, fearful of being open about your past or your struggles. 11. A history of falling out with everyone around them. Ever notice that toxic people often have a revolving door of friendships, relationships, and conflicts? They may frame it as everyone is against them or that they just don't tolerate fake people, but when every relationship seems to end in disaster, it's not a coincidence, it's a pattern. They struggle to maintain stable, healthy relationships because their behavior is rooted in control, manipulation, and self-interest. If you confront them about this pattern, they'll likely spin it as proof of how misunderstood they are, further reinforcing their narrative as the perpetual victim. 12. Getting upset when you set healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries with a toxic person feels like setting off an alarm. They react immediately, and it's never positive. Healthy people respect boundaries, toxic ones feel threatened by them. If you decide to take a step back or say no to their demands, they retaliate. They may guilt trip you, accuse you of abandoning them, or imply that you're being selfish. Boundaries disrupt their control, so they challenge them at every opportunity. The result? You might find yourself bending your boundaries just to keep the peace, sacrificing your well-being to accommodate their demands. 13. Guilt tripping you for saying no or prioritizing yourself. Saying no to a toxic person can feel like an offense. They don't just take rejection, they weaponize it. If you decline their request, you're selfish or uncaring. If you prioritize your needs, they question your loyalty. They make you feel guilty for placing value on your own time, energy, and mental health. Over time, this guilt tripping wears you down, leading you to prioritize their needs over your own to avoid the emotional fallout. They thrive on making you feel responsible for their emotions, ensuring you stay entangled in their web of manipulation. 14. Constantly fishing for attention and validation. Ever notice how some people always need to be the center of attention, no matter the occasion? They crave validation to fill the void of their own insecurity. If they're not the topic of conversation, they'll redirect it or exaggerate stories to draw the spotlight back to themselves. When they don't receive the validation they desire, they'll sulk, withdraw, or create drama to regain the focus. It's a relentless cycle of needing admiration, then feeling resentful when it's not given freely. If someone's validation seeking constantly overshadows your connection, it's a sign of a deeper toxic pattern. 15. Dismissing your feelings or making you feel silly for sharing. Have you ever shared a vulnerable moment only to be met with indifference, sarcasm, or mockery? Toxic people struggle to handle vulnerability unless it's their own. When you open up, they either invalidate your feelings or use them against you later. They might say, "You're overreacting," or "You're too sensitive," making you feel foolish for expressing yourself. Over time, you learn to keep your feelings hidden because their reactions are unpredictable and hurtful. Genuine connection requires empathy, something toxic individuals conveniently lack when it doesn't benefit them. 16. Blaming others for their issues instead of owning up. If something goes wrong, it's never their fault. They're experts at finger-pointing, quick to accuse anyone but themselves. This lack of accountability is a defining trait of toxic people. They evade responsibility by scapegoating others. If they mess up at work, the coworker sabotaged them. If their relationship fails, it's because their partner was crazy or controlling. They can't face their own flaws, so they project them outward. This chronic avoidance leaves a trail of damaged relationships, unresolved conflicts, and people left wondering if they were truly at fault. 17. Being overly controlling or possessive of your time. Toxic people don't just want your attention, they demand it. They expect you to be available at their convenience, disregarding your own schedule or needs. If you prioritize other friends, family, or even self-care, they react with jealousy, resentment, or accusations of neglect. They view your time as a courtesy owed to them, and any act of independence feels like a betrayal. Over time, you might find yourself tiptoeing around their reactions, sacrificing your own plans to avoid their outbursts. What they call caring is often just control disguised as concern. 18. Expecting you to drop everything for them. Emergencies happen, and we all need support sometimes. But toxic individuals treat every inconvenience as a crisis, demanding immediate attention. If you can't help them, they make you feel like you failed them, like you're a terrible friend, partner, or family member. They have an exaggerated sense of entitlement, expecting you to prioritize their needs above your own. Over time, you find yourself in a constant state of vigilance, ready to respond to their demands to avoid guilt or conflict. It's not a partnership, it's servitude disguised as loyalty. 19. Refusing to take responsibility for their actions. Apologies from a toxic person are rare, and if they do apologize, it's usually a twisted form of manipulation. They might say, "I'm sorry you feel that way," deflecting blame while appearing remorseful. Owning their mistakes is a threat to their carefully crafted self-image, so they avoid it at all costs. When confronted, they redirect, deny, or manipulate the narrative to make you seem unreasonable. You end up questioning your reality, unsure if they're truly incapable of admitting fault or just unwilling to. 20. Leaving you feeling worse every time you interact. Ultimately, the most telling sign of a toxic person is how you feel after being around them. If you consistently leave their presence feeling drained, anxious, or demoralized, it's a clear indicator that their influence is harmful. Healthy relationships may have ups and downs, but they don't leave you questioning your worth or sanity. Toxic people thrive on chaos, insecurity, and control, and they achieve this by chipping away at your sense of self. The weight of their negativity lingers, leaving you emotionally exhausted long after they've left. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward protecting your peace. Toxic people often thrive in ambiguity when you're unsure if it's really that bad, but trust your intuition. If someone consistently leaves you doubting yourself, questioning your worth, or feeling emotionally spent, it's time to reevaluate that relationship. Your time, energy, and emotional well-being are valuable, and it's okay to distance yourself from those who drain them. Protect your peace. It's not selfish, it's essential. At the end of the day, protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. Toxic people will drain your energy, test your limits, and make you question your worth. They thrive on control, manipulation, and guilt, but you don't have to accept that. Choosing to distance yourself from negativity is an act of self-respect. It's not about revenge or resentment. It's about valuing your mental health, your growth, and your happiness. Walking away doesn't make you weak. It shows you have the courage to prioritize yourself. You deserve relationships that build you up, not tear you down. People who respect your boundaries, who genuinely care about you, who celebrate your growth rather than feel threatened by it. Choosing yourself isn't betrayal, it's liberation. So stop feeling guilty for letting go. Stop justifying someone's toxic behavior just because you see the good in them. The most powerful act of love you can show is love for yourself. Choose your peace, protect your energy, and surround yourself with people who genuinely uplift you. When you do that, you won't just survive, you will thrive. Before you go, ask yourself, are there people in your life holding you back, draining your energy, or making you doubt your worth? It's time to take control, protect your peace, and prioritize your happiness. If this video opened your eyes or made you think twice about the people around you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Head of Billions for more powerful, life-changing content. Remember, your time and energy are valuable. Make sure they're invested in the right people. Stay strong, stay focused, and keep building the life you deserve.